But then how do we start to build them into Vault Hill, and how do we then start to give them utility which doesn't sit on the same lines of, oh, I'm a bank, I'm in the metaverse, look at me, or oh, I'm a dating app, I'm in the metaverse, look at me, right?
What are your plans and thoughts for the next quarter as we wrap up? Well, I mean, we're already talking that we're in H2 now, Q3. Feels like the next 6 months are quite pivotal for Vault Hill's growth. How do you and your team, enhance our human experiences within VH strategically?
It's a great question. We are now working more closely with the game team and the art team to make sure that what I've just spoken about is being adopted and being put into the game. I use game as a colloquialism because actually, even though we're not trying to build a game in the same way as Fortnite or Call of Duty are, when you think, and we use the London analogy again, if you arrive in London, you have multiple levels, right? So I'm walking around. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? Yeah. I get onto a bus. How do I feel? How do I look? How do I feel? They are distinct levels. I go into a Primark. What do I see? What do I feel? I step out of Primark. I see something else on Tottenham Court Road, Selfridges or whatever. How do I think? What do I see? Why do I want to go into Selfridges as opposed to Primark? They are levels, and as such, they follow the same mechanics as a game. TK, our new game director, would be able to expand on this much more eloquently. But what we want to do with myself, Carlos, who's our urban planning lead, is how do we give enough direction to go off and allow the team to allow those things to be executed? Then how do we bring in brands that sit alongside those vision statements that we've got to execute them? So use the London analogy again. How do I get Selfridges, as an example, to be in romance? And how do I get Primark to be in community? Because they're the two narratives that we want to go through. So we're very much working on that. So we're in conversation with a number of brands. You've mentioned that previously. But then how do we start to build them into Vault Hill, and how do we then start to give them utility which doesn't sit on the same lines of, oh, I'm a bank, I'm in the metaverse, look at me, or oh, I'm a dating app, I'm in the metaverse, look at me, right? We're starting to see a lot of people do stuff for the sake of doing stuff. Yeah. What we want to do with Vault Hill is do stuff as a partner with the companies coming into Vault Hill to make sure that what they're doing not only represents their brand in a way that they want to be represented, but also allows us to execute the strategies around each of these districts that we have in a way which is going to be meaningful.
Nice.
That's going to be our focus up until October. What would be great is if we can get some of these brands built, installed, and the publicity done. So when we get to October, we go with a fanfare alongside some of these brands.
I believe the no pressure team. But yeah, I believe all hands are on deck for that to happen.
We're focusing and working hard to get that done. We're also looking at some other things as well. So once we've got these brands in, how do I make it easier? Buying stuff in blockchain at the moment is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly complex. It's overly complex, right? Let's be honest. You have to go to a wallet. You have to then transfer your money. You have to buy stuff. Then you have to transfer it back. And then we're also looking at how we make that easier. How do you go onto your mobile phone and go, I want to buy Vault Hill City tokens, swipe, done. So hopefully, if we do this right, by October, we'll have a number of brands selling stuff which you can actively buy, and you'll also be able to buy stuff very, very easy. Now, that might not happen in October because we've got a lot of building to do, but we want to get these strategies in line that by the time we're ready to go, we'll be able to execute very quickly alongside that as well.
Yeah. Really great. Thank you very much, Nick.